Ever feel like you're just running on that treadmill?
Yeah.
Like always busy, but never quite getting where you want to be.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
I know I have.
Definitely.
Today's deep dive is all about taking back control of your time. Not to cram more in, but to make space for what really matters.
Exactly. It's not just about getting more done. It's about feeling empowered to choose how you spend your precious hours, both at work and in your personal life.
I love that idea of reclaiming our time.
Yeah.
And I think the first step is understanding what's actually eating up those hours
Right.
we wish we had back.
Yeah.
Are we letting distractions run the show? Could we be working smarter, not harder?
That's where things get interesting.
Okay.
We're going to explore some super practical techniques that can help you identify those time sucks and start making different choices.
Okay.
And the best part is you can pick and choose what works best for your unique style and personality.
Okay, let's unpack some of these techniques.
Okay.
First up, the Eisenhower Matrix.
Right.
This one's all about prioritizing tasks based on their urgency and importance.
Okay.
Picture a simple grid, and you categorize each task as either urgent and important,
You're right.
important but not urgent,
No.
urgent but not important,
Yeah.
or neither urgent nor important.
It's a brilliant way to visualize what truly deserves your attention.
Right.
Often we get caught up in the whirlwind of urgent tasks,
Yeah.
emails, phone calls, last-minute requests, but are those actually moving us closer to our goals? The Eisenhower Matrix helps you cut through the noise and focus on what really matters.
So if we're using this matrix, how do we decide what falls into each category? I feel like sometimes everything feels urgent.
That's where some honest self-reflection comes in.
Right.
Ask yourself, if I could only accomplish 3 things today, what would they be?
Okay.
Those are likely your important and urgent tasks.
Got it.
Important but not urgent tasks are those long-term goals, like learning a new skill or planning for the future.
I'm starting to see how powerful this could be. You're basically training yourself to be more discerning about how you spend your time.
Exactly. And that brings us to another technique that's all about focused action.
Okay.
The Pomodoro technique.
Ooh, tell me more. I'm always up for trying something new, especially if it involves tomatoes.
Not exactly tomatoes, but it does have a fun name.
Okay.
It's named after those cute little kitchen timers shaped like tomatoes.
Okay.
The technique is super simple. You work in focused bursts of 25 minutes,
Okay.
followed by a 5-minute short break.
Wait, so I could actually be more productive by taking more breaks. That sounds counterintuitive.
It might seem that way, but it actually works wonders. Our brains are not designed for sustained, uninterrupted focus. By incorporating these short breaks, you give your mind a chance to reset
Okay.
and come back to the task with renewed energy.
Right.
You'd be surprised how much you can get done in those focused 25-minute sprints.
Okay, I'm definitely adding this to my list of things to try.
Yeah.
What's next on our time management tour?
Let's talk about the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle.
Okay.
This one states that roughly 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts.
That's fascinating. So we're really talking about identifying those key actions that have the biggest impact.
Right.
But how do we figure out what those high leverage activities are in our own lives?
It takes a little bit of analysis, but it's worth it. Think about your work or personal goals.
Right.
What are the tasks that really move the needle? For example, if you're trying to grow your business, spending hours on social media might not be as effective as focusing on building relationships with key clients.
Okay.
Or if you're trying to get healthier, that 30-minute workout might have a bigger impact than meticulously tracking every calorie you eat.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's about prioritizing quality over quantity.
Yes.
And focusing our energy where it truly makes a difference.
Exactly. And that mindset shift can be incredibly liberating. Now, are you ready for 2 more techniques?
Absolutely. Hit me with them.
Let's dive into the world of batching.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed how much time you lose when you're constantly switching between tasks?
Oh, totally. Feels like my brain is doing mental gymnastics all day long.
Well, batching helps minimize that context switching by grouping similar tasks together.
Okay.
Imagine tackling all your emails in one block, making all your phone calls back-to-back, or dedicating a specific time slot to creative work.
So instead of scattering these activities throughout the day, I'm creating dedicated chunks of time for each type of task. That sounds like it could really streamline my workflow.
Exactly. It minimizes distractions and allows you to get into a flow state, boosting both your efficiency and your focus. And finally, we have time blocking, which is all about scheduling specific blocks of time for different tasks throughout your day.
This one sounds a bit like batching, but with a calendar involved.
You got it.
Okay.
Think of it as creating a roadmap for your day.
Right.
You allocate specific time slots for everything, from work projects to personal appointments to those activities you always wish you had more time for.
So I'm basically making appointments with myself for all the important things I want to accomplish.
Yes.
That sounds like a great way to ensure those things actually get done instead of getting pushed aside by more urgent tasks.
Precisely. Time blocking helps you prioritize your day and stay on track. It's like having a personal assistant who keeps you accountable to your own goals.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground already.
Right.
5 techniques to try, and I'm already feeling inspired to revamp my entire approach to time management.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just imagine the possibilities when you start reclaiming those precious hours and directing them towards what truly matters to you. But before you dive headfirst into a time management overhaul, let's talk about something equally important.
Okay.
Identifying those sneaky time wasters that might be sabotaging your best efforts.
Yes, let's expose those productivity thieves.
Oh,
Because even with the best techniques in the world, we're all susceptible to those little distractions that can derail our day.
Let's start with the one that's probably on everyone's mind, social media. It's designed to be addictive, constantly vying for our attention with those little notifications and endless feeds.
Ah, it's so true. I can get lost down a social media rabbit hole for what feels like minutes, and then suddenly an hour has vanished.
It happens to the best of us. But the good news is there are ways to manage those digital distractions. Have you ever considered using one of those apps that block social media sites during certain hours?
I've heard of them, but I haven't actually tried one yet. Do they really work?
They can be surprisingly effective. It's like setting up a digital fence around your focus. You can choose which sites to block for how long and even set up recurring schedules. So you could block social media during your peak work hours, for example, but still allow access in the evenings for relaxation.
That's a brilliant idea. I'm definitely going to look into those apps. What about other time wasters? What else should we be watching out for?
Well, let's talk about meetings. They can be necessary for collaboration and communication, but let's face it, they can also be major time sucks, especially if they're poorly organized or lack a clear purpose.
Oh my gosh, yes. I've been in so many meetings that could have easily been an email or a quick phone call.
It's a common problem. And it's okay to be assertive about protecting your time. Before accepting a meeting invite, ask yourself, is my presence truly essential? What value will I add to this discussion?
So it's all about being more discerning about which meetings we attend. What if we're invited to a meeting that we know isn't the best use of our time? How do we politely decline without seeming rude?
It's all about clear and respectful communication. You could say something like, thank you for the invitation, but I'm currently focusing on, mention a specific project or priority. Would it be possible to receive a summary of the key points afterward?
That's a great way to acknowledge the invitation while also setting a boundary.
Yeah.
And it keeps the lines of communication open.
Exactly. You're not shutting down the conversation entirely. You're simply suggesting a more efficient way to share information.
Okay, so we've tackled social media and meetings. What about that multitasking monster? I know it's a bad habit, but I feel like I'm always doing a million things at once.
Multitasking might seem like the ultimate productivity hack, but research actually shows that it often backfires. When we try to juggle multiple tasks simultaneously, our brains are constantly switching gears, which can lead to mental fatigue errors and a decline in the quality of our work.
It's like our brains are trying to run multiple programs at once and everything starts to lag.
That's a great analogy. So instead of multitasking, try single tasking. Focus on one task at a time and give it your full attention. You'll be surprised how much more efficiently you work and how much better the end result is.
It's definitely worth trying. Sometimes I feel like I'm accomplishing so much when I'm multitasking, but maybe I'm just creating the illusion of productivity.
It's easy to fall into that trap. But when we truly focus on one task at a time, we allow ourselves to get into a flow state where we're fully immersed in the present moment, and that's where the magic happens. I'm already feeling more relaxed just thinking about being more present and intentional with my time.
And that sense of calm focus is something we can cultivate not just through specific techniques, but also through a long-term commitment to building good habits.
So we're talking about the bigger picture here. Time management isn't just a set of quick fixes, it's an ongoing journey.
Exactly. And it's a journey that's well worth taking. Because when we master the art of time management, we're not just managing our schedules, we're managing our lives.
That's such a powerful way to put it. It's about creating a life that feels aligned with our values, our goals, and our deepest desires.
And it's a journey we can all take together one step at a time. So let's put some of these ideas into action. What are some things you could try implementing this week? Well, I'm definitely going to give those social media blocking apps a try. I'm also going to be more mindful about which meetings I accept and make a conscious effort to single task instead of trying to juggle everything at once. What about you? Any new habits you're thinking of trying? I'm really intrigued by that time blocking thing. I think creating that structure in my day could help me feel more in control and less overwhelmed, like setting myself up for success instead of just reacting to whatever comes my way.
It's a fantastic technique for taking back control. And remember, it doesn't have to be rigid. You can always adjust your time blocks as needed throughout the day. Life happens and sometimes unexpected things pop up.
Right.
But having that initial framework gives you a starting point and helps you stay focused on your priorities.
That makes sense. So it's not about being a slave to the schedule, but rather using it as a tool to guide me towards my goals. I love that. What are some tips for making time blocking really work?
First, start by identifying your non-negotiables. These are the essential activities that absolutely must happen each day, like sleep meals and any work or family commitments that are set in stone.
Okay, so those are my foundation blocks, then what?
Next, think about your top priorities for the week. These could be work-related projects, personal goals, or even just things you want to make more time for, like exercise or spending time with loved ones.
Okay.
hmm
I'm starting to see how this all comes together. It's like creating a personalized puzzle where each piece represents a different aspect of my life.
Exactly. And once you have those key pieces in place, you can start slotting them into your schedule. Be realistic about how much time you need for each activity, and don't forget to factor in those little transition moments like commuting or getting ready in the morning.
It's all about being mindful of how I'm spending my time, even those seemingly small moments that can add up throughout the day.
Absolutely. And here's a little bonus tip. Don't be afraid to schedule in some buffer time. Life is unpredictable and things don't always go according to plan. Having those little pockets of unscheduled time can help you stay flexible and avoid feeling stressed when things inevitably come up.
That's such a good point.
Yeah,
I'm definitely someone who needs that flexibility in my schedule. I tend to get anxious when everything is planned down to the minute.
we all have different needs and preferences. The key is to find what works best for you and adapt these techniques to fit your unique style. And remember, time management is an ongoing journey. It's not about achieving perfection overnight. It's about making small, sustainable changes that add up to a big impact over time.
It's about progress, not perfection. I love that. And speaking of progress, I think our listeners are probably ready to start implementing some of these amazing tips. Any final words of wisdom before we wrap up this deep dive?
As you embark on this journey of reclaiming your time, remember to be kind to yourself. There will be days when you feel like you're crushing it, and days when you feel like you're back at square one. That's okay. The important thing is to keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep moving forward.
And most importantly, remember to celebrate those small wins along the way. Every step you take towards a more balanced and fulfilling life is a victory worth acknowledging.
Beautifully said. Now go forth and conquer your time.
That's a wrap on this episode of The Deep Dive. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration of time management techniques and feel inspired to try some of them out in your own life. Remember, you have the power to create a schedule that supports your goals, nourishes your well-being, and allows you to make time for the things that truly matter. Until next time, happy time managing.